are you?
It's been a while, huh?
Yeah, almost minutes.
Almost minutes. I just got in yesterday. Well, welcome everybody. Annie, will you double check to see if this is recording? Want to make sure. This is
It,
so exciting. It is perfect. Okay, welcome to Wake Up Wednesday. What's everybody doing? Come on, let's get going. If I can be jazzed up at 9 a.m. after traveling all day yesterday, I think you guys can too. Janet, how are you?
I'm doing good. So we're avoiding the flooding here. There's a lot of flooding in Tennessee, but it has not touched us. So thank goodness.
Thank God I left Nashville yesterday. I flew in to
Oh,
Florida from
cool.
Nashville. I was out in Kentucky visiting Sarah Gibson after I was hanging out with Don in Dallas. So many things going on. But speaking of Dallas, I want to tell you guys if you can run, walk, hitchhike, grab a plane, whatever you can do to get to Dallas on July 31st and August 1st, I'm telling you, this is the event not to miss, right, Don? We got
it's going to be
Dallas built.
spectacular. Yeah, it's going to be
It's
spectacular.
the
The best
speaker.
lineup I've seen since we had Tony Robbins. I mean, like 5 years ago, this is the best
Mhm.
lineup I've seen.
Absolutely. I mean, anybody who's everybody is there. Don, you want to talk a little bit about the speakers?
Don't, no, I cannot.
You can't either. Okay. So
I,
I will
I,
tell you that
I,
Gene Frederick's going to be there. Brent Gove is going to be there. Tony King is going to be there. Josie, who is our regional growth person here, is going to be there. We have got, I'm just trying to pull it up now. We have
I
got,
know. I'm sorry. I didn't.
that's okay. Lisa Kane is flying in. Misty's coming. They're not speaking. They're just going to attend. They're bringing a recruit with them. I mean, it's a lineup that if you can get there, I would go. I would drive, walk, whatever it takes. Just get there. So, with that being said, hey Stacy, you just jumped on. Stacy, are you coming to Dallas Build?
I'm not that I'm going to be in Daytona Beach that weekend. Mm,
That's okay. That's
I
all
know I'm
right.
kind of bummed though. I love Ricky Caruth.
I know he's one of the
Oh, yeah.
keynote speakers. Ricky
Ricky's
is
coming.
there, and quite a few other people. So, anyways, Don and I were talking, and of course, you know me. If I can say to someone like Don Hobbs, "Hey, what's your schedule like on the 15th of July?" Oh, that's 2 weeks away. Would you jump on and share what you're doing with everybody? Because we want to bring value. And Don said, "Of course I will." So here we are, 2 weeks later. And Don, you've got something really exciting that you're working on, 8 by 8 by 8.
Yeah, so I'll tell the story. I've got a couple. I put together a slide deck for this
Okay.
morning, but let me tell you the crux of it. You know me for a long time. Most of these
Yeah.
people don't, and I'm not sure. In fact, I'm looking around, except for Annie. I'm not sure who knows me, so it doesn't really matter. Just historically speaking. Uh, we started an ad agency back in the 80s. I met you, I think, in the 90s, if I remember
Hmm.
correctly. Gene
Yep.
Frederick. I mean, a lot of those people were coming to our programs. You were with Prudential at the time, I
Yep.
think, or
I
Merrill
was.
Lynch, one of the two, somewhere in there. Um, and we had come up with a program. And if any of you came out of the KW world, they kind of borrowed and called it the part of their bold program, which was called the 8 by 8. And there's a story which people don't know if it's true or not true. In fact, the head of Bold in the old company, Peggy, asked me one day, "Is that a true story?" I said, "Yeah, it was actually written up in Realtor magazine." I just saw a video about it. In fact, Nicole sent me a video of it a few weeks ago, and it was the story of a guy that we took as an ad agency, which we had this large ad agency, 150 employees, and we built personal branding and marketing for agents. And what we did is we took a name and we built a brand around a non-existent agent. And Peggy, I think you remember the story. Actually, it's written about in um, Ninja Selling, Larry
Hmm.
Kendall's great book, Ninja Selling. There was no agent. And we executed what was called the 8x8, which was 8 pieces in 8 weeks, right? And then 3 pieces per month. And again, at that time, 90s, early 2000s, we didn't have social media. We didn't have some of the things we have today, right? So it was all direct mail. It was all mail into the house. So we knew exactly how to get to the people. We knew exactly who they were, where they lived. We knew everything about them. And that was our way of getting to them. So you had 8 pieces in 8 weeks, one piece per week for 8 weeks, and then 3 pieces per month forever, right? That was the formula. Peggy used that in programs like that, with agents like that. And we built this non-existent agent to 37% market share.
Yeah.
Right?
Huge.
So how many agents don't have 37% market share? The answer is most, because first of all, most agents don't know what market they are in. I mean, I just talked to a guy here last week, and he had 19 deals so far this year in 16 different cities in the DFW market.
Wow.
So he's going 2 hours that direction, an hour and a half that direction. I mean, it's insane chasing deals. And that's the life of the realtor. That's why I work out for referral only. It's like, that's sad. I mean, it's not that referrals are bad. It's just that we want to control our market. And so we created this way of going after target markets and dominating those. And that was the 8x8. So last year, direct mail, first of all, is expensive. And it's not only direct mail, although I truly believe direct mail is an untapped piece, because everybody else pulled out of direct mail. Like, I remember being at my home in Southern California. We were in Coto de Caza, Peggy, you know where that is.
Yep. Right down the street from where I was. Yep.
I used to receive probably 10 to 12 different realtor stuff every single month in the mail. I was just at my mom's house for Mother's Day. She didn't get anything. No direct mail. I'm like, anybody doing direct mail right now would kill it. Because when they're zigging, you need to be zagging, right? You want to be going a different direction. But it's also very expensive. And what I started playing with was the idea that with today's social media and video and so many marketing channels, the only channel we had was direct mail, or we had large scale print media, billboards, we had radios, we had TV, we had people on cable. We don't need to do any of that stuff. We've got social media, and we've got video, and we've got so many different channels. The challenge is most people don't think about them as channels, and they get to be an expert at Instagram. Well, that's only one channel. And putting your margarita from last night's dinner is not the answer. It's like there's more to it than that. It's more strategic than that. So can I kind of go through a deck, and with that setup, can I just kind of go through some stuff?
Absolutely. We love it.
Some of you don't know me. I'm going to share the screen here. Do I have sharing rights? Probably, huh?
Yeah, you should.
Here we go. Let me present that screen. So I did a talk at the beginning of this year, January. We do big events here, Peggy, as you know, like Bill, but not quite that big. But every I don't know, 8 times a year we do a big event, and we filled a room in January. And I did this 8x8 because last year I was really formulating. I was like, how do you do that? What's the mix? What's the blending of social and by the way, what's the content code? What's the content that's needed? Because I have, for example, coaching clients. I've got a coaching client right now in Florida, and we did some market research after we've been in the market for a while. And we're getting this feedback. We love them. They're awesome. Their business is great. They're just about to icon. And not everybody takes them seriously as a realtor because they are so social and so much on that side that they don't have that one edge, which is, our realtor, right? So you never know where you're so heavily leaning one direction that you're missing the other. And we wanted to come up with the content pillars. We wanted to come up with the content channels, and we wanted to come up with the frequency, right? And so it was a formulaic thing. So in January, I did this for the first time, and I want to share with you. For those of you who don't know me, I'm not actually with EXP, except I am through marriage, if you will. Allison was one of Nicole Russo's first recruits back in 2015 when Gene started and Nicole started. and she was agent 641 out of what, 90,000, whatever we've actually got today. I have no clue what that number really is, but whatever that is, Allison was one of those people. And of course, you know her, Peggy, for a long time. So we live now in Dallas. We lived in Puerto Rico for 4 years. We met in Austin when I was Gary Keller's business partner. We had built a company together and had been longtime friends. We're not friends anymore because he didn't like the fact that I was sleeping with the enemy, and it kind of blew us out of our relationship. But in the end, it worked out really well for us, and so we're really happy. Of course, we've got nearly 900 and some agents. I forget what the actual number is now, but almost 1,000 agents, let's say, in EXP, and we love this company. So all that said, we get to hang with people like Peggy. We get to hang with people like Gene Frederick. And we loved living in Puerto Rico and having the yacht there and this lifestyle that we used to live with, you know, Brent and all that. But we needed Uber Eats and we just needed modern. We just needed
modern stuff.
we just needed modern stuff. So we moved back. So let's start off with this, and you can see my screen, right?
Yes, perfect.
Okay. All right. So there's 4 points of leverage, and I want to hit this stuff real quick and then set up the marketing, and then I want to go into the market.
Okay.
But there are 4 points of leverage because we have to, Peggy, we have to get to a place where it's not just me, myself, and I, and you personally don't leverage, you don't scale. Let's put it that way. You don't scale, right? You've got to have more than just you doing it. And when people are like, well, I have personal service, and all 4 clients last year love me. Yeah, but people are doing 40 and 400, you know, and we've got people doing over 1,000, 2,000. That's through leverage. And so where's the leverage? Number one, I hung out with my mentor, my original mentor, Jim Rohn. And Jim said it's your personal growth that matters. When you become more aware, you see more possibilities. You're in a bigger mind space. You start to see things that are bigger. When you change what you look at, the things you look at change, right? We also have marketing, and marketing was my foundation. It was when I left Jim Rohn's company and started my own. We had this big ad agency, and as you know, Peggy, Hobbs was the biggest training company in real estate.
Yep.
You know, we built a big deal. So marketing became the premise. It's like, I don't know what your problem is, but I know marketing is the solution. Honestly, it's how you get clients. It's how you serve clients. It's how you keep clients long-term. It's all about marketing. Marketing is even in the servicing that you do. And then, of course, systems and processes are duplication. If you're doing it more than once, you need to have a system for that. You need to, in today's world, you're probably using Quad Cowork or something like that to amplify your results. And then ultimately, it comes down to people and having the right people. Well, we happen to be in a place today where we've got people in the form of AI. And I know that sounds weird, but I truly see it that way. I name all mine. We have people that we're talking to all day long that are AI agents. We also have people, and I saw Joyce in here. Joyce is my assistant, love her to death. She's in the Philippines. We have AI, we have VAs, and then of course we have people, and people comes in the form of assistants. People come in the form of TCs. People come in the form of agents, meaning, you know, 1,000 agents leverage across the country in 8 countries. We sell a lot of real estate, but we don't sell it. We sell a lot of real estate. You know, Allison isn't out there pounding every sign. We've got a lot of people doing all that. So that's leverage. So with that in mind, keep in mind your growth is only going to happen through these 4 channels. Somewhere in here is your nirvana, and it could be all 4 of them. And as you elevate, you start to see that you start to expand. And then I'm going to just reference, because I've used it for years, Rich Dad, Poor Dad Kiyosaki, you know, wrote the second book he wrote, which was called The Cash Flow Quadrant. And that's where he talks about going from, and the E is the employee, the S is the self-employed, where most agents are, by the way, self-employed. We don't actually have a business. We own a job. But we've been moving people for years, and Peggy's sitting in one of our programs back in the day. We were always trying to move people from the self-employed ranks, which again, through leverage, moves you into the business owner. And that's where you get leverage. You have other people, you have systems, you have process, all of that. So if I can just urge you, really look at, how do I have a business, or do I just own a job? This is a good self-discovery. This is a good self-conversation for you. And then of course the I is the investor, and for the more passive, I got to a place where when Peggy knew me in the old company, I literally showed up for 8 programs a year. 6 for agents, 2 for broker owners, and actually one event called the NAR convention. I spoke for NAR for 23 years in a row. In 9 events. And if I didn't show up to the office, nobody cared because I didn't do anything, right? I wasn't important to the equation. I was just the speaker. And so when you get to the place where you're that passive, you know, you kind of have, it's like Gene Frederick. I mean, Gene's golfing a lot, right? Because he's got the leverage, he's built the system. And so that's what we want to get to. And this company allows us to do just that. Now, I want you to identify yourself, and we won't spend long on this, but I did want to bring this to you. And if you want to take a screenshot, I'm not sure how that will come out for you, but this might be a good capture. This is the 8 stages of business. And I see this as being a really important piece for you to decide, where am I, and do the assessment. Where am I now? And then what's my growth stages? Where are my pains? What's my challenges? And how do I overcome them? And of course, the 0 to 14 is your solopreneur, your solo agent, just getting started. What are the pains? No clarity on what to do. You know, what do I do now? No leads, lack of experience. If I have a client, I don't know if I'm saying the right stuff. I feel inadequate. I'm not sure I want to call on clients because I don't know what I'm going to say to them, right? There's a lot of things that go on in that early stage. Most of the people on this call are probably not in that. They're in other stages. The seeker is 15 to 25. You're still solo, no team, but you've got, you've got a lack of leads. You're spending money on things, but they're not always working. You're guessing, but you're sort of trial and erroring your way to success. You've got some success. So the good news is you've got capital to invest. And by the way, that's one key part of owning a business. People think that it should be, you know, all this money is mine. No, a bunch of it goes into marketing and systems and people and structure. A bunch of it goes in there. And that's where we get to multiply ourselves. Otherwise, we stay stuck and we go from 17 deals to 19 deals in a year, and then to 20 deals. We could multiply that. I was talking to an agent the other day, and I said, you know, from where you are at 10 million, your next natural step, if you leverage the earnings that you have, your next natural step is between 20 and $25 million.
Exactly.
And most people don't get that. They're thinking, I got to go to 12 and then go to 14.
Yeah.
And then they get tired. And then, you know, it's like, how do you get from there? Well, what you did to get to 10 doesn't get you to 25, but your next natural step is 25, right? So Peggy, this is where I want people really kind of diving in. And then the solo plus one assistant is the grower, the hustler. And we know people in the EXP system. In fact, a lot of them will be at Build, plug for Build, will be on stage doing the entrepreneur, the leader, the visionary, and icon, hundreds of transactions. You know, when I retired from Hobbs Herder in 2010, my biggest client that year did $220 million in sales, and I forget what the deal count was, but it was a lot. And by the way, didn't have a huge team of 40 people or whatever. It was like 3 listing agents and 3 buyer agents and them. It was insane. But because the business is pouring in, come listen to me, come listen to me, come listen to me, come listen to me, it's coming in. It's not hard business. It's not pound the phones, try and get a client, looking for a deal. You know, it's not that. That wears your butt out for sure. So this is the growth stages. So I want you to realize that you're in an industry where you're next to a lot of people that have the same claims as you, and you're just a bunch of commodity oranges. And what makes the difference in the pile of oranges since you were here, Peggy, at HEB, the pile of oranges, or at Berkshire's, right, out where Gene and Susan are, the pile of oranges that has the Sunkist label, they're more expensive than the ones that aren't. But they're all oranges, and they all came off trees from your Florida, right? So the key is, how do we brand ourselves? How do we put ourselves in a place where we're not just one of those, we're this one that people know, like, and trust? And how do we occupy the space called real estate? So when they think of real estate, they automatically think of us. And we are, it'd be great if we were the only, but if we get in the top 2 or 3, at least we're in the consideration set. At least we're in the interview process. How many listings were taken yesterday? You didn't even get the call. And so this is where we've got to, you know, really dig in. So how important is reputation? This is where people, I want to change my reputation. I've got a good reputation. I know, but reputation is your brand. Results times influence equals your brand. That's a great formula that you can take down or a screenshot or take with you. it's your results. So I've done a lot. By the way, if I haven't done a lot, that doesn't mean you can't win. It just means results. If I've sold hundreds of homes, that's a good start. Plus my influence. If nobody knows I exist, I don't have a brand. If everybody's talking about me, yesterday I was talking to Trey Williams, Peggy, and
Yep.
Trey was talking about a gal that we both know here in Plano that is the dominant force. I mean, she is killer in that market. She's probably 35 to 40% market of the high end Plano market. And I talked to her not long ago. She says, I want more. And that's kind of domination. Her brand is so huge in that area that people don't even think about others. They just call her.
Right.
So the brand is the digitization of your reputation. And that, when I was the president of Success Magazine, 2020, 21,
Mm-hmm.
I met Rory Vaden, and Rory gave me that line. And I love that. When I think about that, it's the digitization. It's the putting your brand on paper, putting your brand into social. It's putting your brand into video. It's putting your brand. So it's not just what video, a shoot video. That's great, but is it on point? Is it on my brand? Is it going down the flow of the message we use and the who it's for, right? Are we thinking about
Mm-hmm.
those factors? So I went to an open house. I went to several. In fact, this last weekend, I went to more. I do that pretty much every weekend coming back from pickleball because it's great recruiting time, right? Great
Right.
opportunity. So the agency is a company that's, calls itself a kind of a high-end company. I walked into this open house. He's got a flyer that's on the right, which is nothing more than a printout of the MLS. That's his flyer. Then he's got a paper like letterhead that says the agency, and then 10 steps to buying a home in North Texas. Nothing really about him, the agency. He printed this, and then he's got this brochure about the house. And of course, you see the agency on the front cover, and on the and with Jamie Buck and the agency. So I only see Jamie Buck once. I see the agency everywhere. And who paid for all this stuff? And who's getting most of the marketing value? Right? The agency.
Right.
Who paid for this? He did.
You did.
So why is that happening? Because he didn't know. So when you start thinking about it, and by the way, the second open house I went to was one of our very own. I met some new people that I did not know. It was EXP, and I thought, oh, I'll walk in and find some friends. And this was their flyer on the property. As you can tell, it's like on crummy paper. It's photocopied. Their number is there. There's no name that really matters. Like I can't see because there's an email address. EXP is the only thing I can actually see. So again, this is stuff we're doing, we're printing, we're creating. This is in our homes, our open houses, this stuff we're using to try and lure people. So in my world, if I walk into an open house, I'd like to see your personal brochure. I'd love to see that story that tells me a lot more about who you are and lets me fall in love with you. I literally will tell you, not this guy, but these people in Orange County that told me they're holding an open house. The person walks out with their personal brochure, would not give them information about themselves, don't want to be tracked, don't want to be sold, don't want to be chased.
Mm-hmm.
Brochure and the flyer, which match this, on the way out the door, get to the car, and they lost track of the people. 6-7 minutes later, they come walking back in and said, hey, we were just reading about you. We like you. We like what you stand for. We like who you are. I'm assuming you're taking clients. Could we work with you?
Brilliant.
That's the kind of stuff that happens when you're really putting things out that matter, because the story is what attracts us. The story is what connects us.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I know you. I like you. I trust you. How do I know that? It just feels that way to me. I read the story. I read who you are. And by the way, that story is going to go on your website. That story is going to go into your social. That story is going to go into every little place that you have a small amount of space or a big amount of space. And you're going to keep telling that story. You're going to do video about that story. You're going to keep doing videos that perpetuate that story. Everything is about that, how we connect with you. So Annie, we just finished your stuff. I'm waiting for your questionnaire so we can do more of it, but this is Annie's new brochure. She'll be using this at her open houses.
I love this. Annie,
This
I'm
is
so glad
beautiful.
you did it. It's amazing.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
was really
I love it.
proud
Don
of it.
was amazing, and with what he did, with what pictures I could give him.
Well, that
Gorgeous.
was one of our challenges, right? We were trying to get like, okay, we need stuff to work with. But anyway, and by the way, the good news is we gave her all these we built her templates. We built her system. I'll show you more about that. We built her system, and then we put it all in the Canva for her. So literally, she's got her templates, not EXP's templates, not anybody else's templates. That's stuff she had to buy online. She's got her templates that are all going to occupy that space for her. So we build out these kinds of things. And this is when you start to see a brand unfolding. Like this is the Instagram posts and the Instagram, the headers for your YouTube and the headers for your Facebook, and where everything comes together. It's like if I see you in direct mail, if I see you in video, if I see you, all of it matches. Like oh, that's who she is. Oh, it's her again. It's her again. It's her again.
Mm-hmm.
It's him again. And that's what we want people thinking. I went to an open house. An open house on Sunday, and it was for one of our agents that we were doing some business with. And on Saturday, she held the same open house, and I said to her something about, I was kind of knocking. I said, and agents have these red and white arrow signs, open house, open house, open house. And I said, they don't even have a picture. There's no branding. There's no whatever. And she goes, oh, shoot, I did that. Yesterday I did that. And she said, today I did that. And tomorrow I'm going to change it because I've got some signs that are branded. Well, then I went to her open house. They weren't branded. They had her logo on it. A logo is not your brand. A logo is a piece of a brand. Your picture is not your brand. It's a piece of a brand. Your brand is a much more all-encompassing story. It has to do with the story that then creates the logo, that then creates right? All of it comes from who are you and what's the message to market match. It's a really important phrase, the message to market match, right? How do we get me to feel like them and feel like I'm relatable to them, that they like me, they know me, they like me, and they trust me? That's what you want to do. There's Annie's campaign. I don't know if I showed that to you.
I love her open house signs, her for sale signs, everything. It's all about Annie.
Thank you, Don.
So yeah, Annie, we're really proud of this. It was beautiful. Thanks for letting us play with you, because that luxury feel is so nice. And by the way, Peggy, for people that you know in the luxury, EXP luxury, they think EXP luxury is a brand. It's not. It's a grouping of services that help us sell to luxury. I still need my brand.
Exactly. People get mixed up with that all the time. I'm so glad that you're really stressing what the brand really is. And it should not be the company, it's you.
It's never the company. I don't care what company you're with. We're proud of ours. We love EXP. That's not the point. The point is nobody in the consumer base goes, hey, I want to list with EXP.
Right.
I want to list with Coldwell Banker. That's not the point. The point is that we've got to get them to find you. So here's what you have to come to grips with. Take a screenshot, write this down. It's not the best realtor who wins. Unfortunately, it's not the best realtor who wins. And by the way, it could be if the best realtor was also the best marketer. Because it's the best marketer who always wins. The fact is, when I spent all this time with Russell Brunson, and we spent time with big marketing names, Jay Abraham, when I spent time with all those people, the thing that came to mind years ago for us was it's always the best agent. We had agents who were brand new. In fact, the couple I was describing in Florida, I met her when she was 3 months in the business. We produced all this stuff for her. People never thought she was new. She never had that, oh, I'm new feeling. Like people just called her because she looked like a pro. They felt like she was an expert. So here's the challenge. Need keeps us stuck. If we had so many leads coming in, we had so much business, we could choose who we dealt with and all of that. That's why I see people chasing all over the DFW market. I see people chasing all over vast markets because they're so desperate to get a deal. And if you stop chasing the deal and start building a brand and start coming to a market and start figuring out who I really serve, and then dealing with that message to that market, I was talking to Trey and I said, I don't know why anybody would leave and go any more than one city away. And I would actually say, I know people that are dominant in 1,000 homes and will do more business in 1,000 homes than most of us do across the city. And by the way, and have a life and still have a life.
Hey, Don.
So, yes.
People are asking, what does it cost to do all that you did for me? Because they're excited
if I
about
can
it.
get to that, I'm going to answer that question, but I'm going to do that a little bit later. It'll cost. So, Peggy, do you remember how much this is a fun story because if Peggy remembers any of this, do you remember how much we charged at Hobbs for marketing
I
campaign?
don't, but it wasn't. Yeah, I don't. That was a long time ago.
On the low side, it was 9,000. On the high side, it was 25 to $26,000. Okay,
Right.
so just hold that thought. Don't get scared. Don't run. Don't hang up.
Don't leave the Zoom.
Just hold that thought because let me put it this way. I had 150 employees and $1 million a month overhead. Okay, so I had a support system. I know that with Joyce and our team, I know with AI and our VAs and by the way, great talent, like Joyce is amazing. With the talent we've got in AI today, we can do some of the very same stuff for a fraction, like it's not even close. So remember that you're in the attention business. You're not in the real estate business. You're in the real estate industry. You're in the attention business.
Mm-hmm.
Your job is to grab people's attention, to start attracting your clients, not to chase clients. And this is a big strategy. It's a complete different thought process. For most of you, it's a complete different thought process. So here's the other thing. And we're going to do a seminar here, a training here on August 19th on niche marketing. This is the subject. You don't need everyone, just the right ones. You want to find out who's my target market. Who are the people that I really relate to that I want to deal with? Some people are jerks and I don't want to deal with them. Some people have are hard to you just know when you start dealing with them on the first conversation, like they're going to be difficult. Why do you take them? Because I need them. Yes. What if you didn't need them? What if you could pick and choose your clients and you really knew what they were like? And by the way, I'm a big pickleball player. Do you know how many deals we're getting now from pickleball? I can tell you, just working the courts, I'm getting a whole lot of business. But here's what I want you to write down. There's two categories that I want you to consider for you, and that is types of people and types of properties. Okay, types of people, types of properties. This is where your decision is. And when I talked to Trey Williams yesterday, I said, Trey, you and I both know that one of the biggest decisions an agent will ever make is who am I serving? If you don't make that decision and you're serving everybody, your marketing dollars have to be dispersed to everything and everybody, and you're trying to get to everything. And like, how do you do that? I don't even know. Nike can't even do it. Nike has targeted ads for tennis and for basketball and they have targeted ads. We're trying to be generic and be everywhere. So who are your people? And by the way, it could be geographic, kind of old school. It could be demographic. It could be socioeconomic. It could be hobbies, passions. It could be occupational. It could be anything. And then what kinds of properties might you look at? And again, architecturally, certain types, like where Annie lives, there's Frank Lloyd Wright down there. There's all kinds of architecturally unique homes. Condos. Allison was in Austin as the condo, we can call her the condo queen. She was called Condo Contessa, but she dominated 5 buildings in downtown Austin. Lake lifestyle. I mean, out there at the lake when we were there, Peggy, how many people own that marketplace, right?
And again, Trey's one of them.
Trey's one of them, right? Find that thing that is your thing that's not competing with everyone else that's a generic agent and focus. And that's really your job, is to focus on that which you want and forget everybody else. Sacrifice. Give that stuff away. Refer that out. I just got her a week and a half ago, a new agent, and her husband is a doctor. And I said to her as we were going through her marketing discussion, I said, what does your husband do? And I think he was an orthopod surgeon. And I said, so let me ask you a question. How many babies did he deliver last year? And she chuckled and she said, none. I said, okay. And I said, how many foot surgeries did he do last year? And she said, none. And I said, okay, how many heart surgeries did he do? And she said, none. I said, what are you getting from this? And she said, he's an expert. I said, right, he's a specialist.
Right.
That's the challenge, Peggy. People don't want to do that in real estate. And that's how we make the most money, is by having the biggest market share of the most defined market that I can own and building from strength to more of those. Okay. So that's our decision point. Then we need the story, and the story is really important. And I think I've done this before on Wake Up Wednesdays, if I remember correctly. We talked about this, but the story is really interesting. When we were in Puerto Rico, 4th of July was coming. We bought a flag at whatever the hardware store was called. This is $49. And then I look at this flag, and I have a question for you. Which flag is worth more? This is $49. How much do you think this is? Well, I don't know either. It was on Facebook, if I remember correctly, and it was hundreds. It wasn't tens of thousands. It was, some story about it hanging over an old fort, blah, 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 handmade by somebody who was famous. It was thousands, or, at least it was around 1,000, if I remember. How much would this flag be?
Oh, priceless.
Priceless. So the story dictates the value. Guys, remember that. Once you find your target market, then the story dictates how people value that. So this is really important for you. Come up with the story that creates the connection to why you are the answer to their needs. And that is the winning combination. So the market is not the limitation. We think the market's off right now. People are succeeding at a high level right now. People that are winning are winning. They're winning and they win in all markets. It's not the market that's your limitation. It's your brand that's the limitation. Okay. So I want to get to the 8x8 and kind of share what that looks like in modern day form, because this is where I think today we can, when I look at Peggy, when I met you, I probably said something from stage that was like, your brand is your long-term, it's your strategy for long haul. It's going to make you the fortune, all that. But then there was some months, right? You had to get this stuff out, and you're putting this stuff out, and people weren't responding, and they're just getting to know you, and they're just getting to know you, like you, and trust you. And then one day the faucet turns on, and like everybody decides you're their agent. And then you'd see people doing like 14 listings in 3 months. It was crazy. But the brand took time to build. And in today's world, with the advent of all the technology that we have and all of our modern methods of getting to people, we can accelerate that process and have it be weeks, not months. So that's what the 8x8 was really about. And I told a story about the agent who wasn't an agent and the 37% market share that we owned. And by the way, that story, I was looking for it the other day. I was hoping there was some like microfiche or somewhere it would be stored in the internet from Real Estate, Realtor Magazine. I'm going to contact them and see if they've actually got a copy of it in their archives. But you need to have that brand built. We took Jada back when she was a new agent. We took her from new agent of her first year. She was in her dad's company. Her first year, she did 12 deals. Her second year, she did 14 deals. We took her within 2 years. We had her at 75 to 80 deals. Within 4 years, she was at 200 deals a year. She's still a friend. She's, by the way, just joined DXP a month ago. Or 2 months ago. She just joined us.
Great.
So here's the 8x8. It comes down to 8 touches. 8 touches. Used to be 8 pieces. Now it's 8 touches. Over 8 content pillars, right? Over 8 channels. So what content pillars are the right ones for you? What pillars are the right ones for you? That's what we're going to talk about. So here's the breakdown. Touches, pillars, channels. Okay. Got it? Everybody wrote it down?
Yep.
So 1 channel is a whisper, 8 is a shout. So you're using only Instagram, that's a whisper. Even if you're doing well with it, it's only a small piece of what you could be. So let's get you on more channels that are all going to the right place, and watch what it does in the minds of your consumers, because obscurity is your enemy. That is the secret agent. Peggy, you use that phrase more than once in your life. The secret agent is the problem, right?
Yep.
So your brand is not just what you do to get clients. Your brand is how you get clients. It's how you service clients. It's your servicing materials. It's your updates. It's all of that. And all the way through the sale, all the way after the sale, it's how we keep the relationship going. We want them to see us as their solution. We want them to recognize our brand so much that they're passing our brand to other people. And I would say in the modern day world, that part right there is where you're seeing companies like Patagonia, companies like Jeep or products like Jeep, where the consumers are forwarding the brand. They're the ones talking about the brand because they're so much part of the community of that company. You want people being a part of your community. And that's only going to happen when your brand is wrapped up and you understand what you're really trying to get. You're unforgettable. And I love this phrase. Remember, it's not their job to remember you. It's your job to be unforgettable.
Mm.
That's a good
That's
screenshot.
perfect.
That's a great screenshot. Now, that to me is the essence of all of it. So, events. I love events. We're doing a movie theater promotion for one of our people for the new Spider-Man movie coming out. It's the marketing pieces. Joyce, let's remember to put those into my next presentation. But it's the marketing pieces. I get to hit them and hit them again and hit them again. I'm inviting them. I'm inviting them. I'm inviting them. I'm inviting them. And it's clever and it's around Spider-Man and they're both in Spider-Man costumes and stuff. It's really awesome. And of course, with AI, you can do so many things. But it's one event, but it's lots of posts. It's lots of marketing. It's lots of invites. It's lots of things. And so with that in mind, I just want you guys to really keep in mind. By the way, Mark Adams, part of our community as well. Mark's been a client of mine since 2001. Mark's in the EXP world right now. His thing, dogs, dog lovers. They do dog walks 2 weekends a month. They do servicing for dogs. They raise money for dogs. The elderly who have, what's the Meals on Wheels, but they don't have food for the dogs, so they furnish that. Everything for him is about dogs. He's got a Facebook group, the for dogs. He's got his brand built around that. Everything is about that. And then you say, what does that have to do with real estate? And the answer is nothing, except that people like him and they trust him and they know he's in real estate and he sponsors all these events for their pups. They do happy hours where they go to a place where all the dogs are turned loose and they have referees that keep track of them while the parents are all having drinks together. That's his social stuff for his group, right? So this is like when you find your posse, you find your group, this is the way you can work with it. This is my Allison. She was the Condo Contessa. Again, target market, I know who they are. Now I get to hit them a lot. All right, so here's your 8 content pillars. And again, this is 8. This may not be your 8, but it's probably close. Market updates and sold, still very appropriate. Why? Because you don't have to brag and tell them how great you are. When you show them that you're selling everything in sight, they know it. Specialized niche information. So again, targeted to the market that you're going for. If it's about dogs for Mark Adams, they're reading it, right? So it's very much driven by the client base. Client success stories. So an owner and a dog saying Mark is the best realtor, that plays well with all the other dog lovers, right? All the other people in his database. Personal brand. So what's the personal brand stuff? I've got some great ideas for anybody who wants them. We can talk, get on my calendar. Real estate education, right? Stuff about the market, stuff about interest rates, stuff about, right? Behind the scenes stuff, how they work, the behind the scenes of raising funds, the behind the scenes stuff at the events, community and local life, the pet people that serve his pet community, the dog walkers, the veterinarians, the people that have the specialized food, all of that becomes part of his deal. And then the experiences and the events, and that's his walks and their big fundraisers and their big, what do they call it, pup crawls and all kinds of fun things they do. So again, your 8 content pillars are going to be different, but they're going to be in this range. So your content pillars equals consistency. If you're margaritas one day and babies and a dog and 4th of July and whatever, it's like that's good, but it doesn't have any real focus. Okay. So by the way, I mentioned it earlier, print is not dead. I would highly recommend that you look carefully at how you can integrate print into your business. One of our agents here was telling me that she says, I do all this social stuff and it gets me business. And then I send a box of crap. And that's what she said. She said, I send a box of crap to them, my kind of pre-listing. And I was like, well, let's see what the crap looks like. Because if the crap really looks like good stuff, it could really forward your world, right? It really explains you. It explains your brand. It gets them into it going, wow, what a pro. So that's where we really want you to go. And again, you saw this, you saw me hold that up, the matching postcards, the matching flyers for the properties, the matching ads, the matching social, the matching, you get the picture. It's all of that stuff. Okay. Again, the human channel comes through the events. Plan 3 to 4 annual events per year. I would recommend that as unless you're new in the business, I would say this would be one of your big jumps. For most of you that have been in the business for a while, this would be one of the things that will make a big difference for you. Gives you lots of content, gives you lots of touch, and gives you lots of personal. So whether it's a picnic, whether it's a 4th of July thing, whether it's a movie theater promotion, whether it's a professional baseball game or what am I trying to say? The AAA or 2A, whatever.
Right.
In your small town, you can do all that stuff. All right, your pillars, we want to cross-pollinate. So here's where we're going to get to the one idea fits many things. The event that you just did had lots of invites, so there's lots of stuff going out. We take lots of pictures, so we're still sending lots of things out. Here's how it worked out. Sorry you weren't there. If you were there, it was awesome. You send stuff to the people that were there. Thanks for being there. It was great. Here's the pictures. If you weren't there, here's what you missed. Come next time. And all of that. And then behind the scenes, here's what we did. Here's what was going on behind the scenes. One event can create darn near a quarter's worth of stuff. That's why I say events could be for some of you that need to turn the page on production from where you are. That would probably be a great place. Now, your 8 channels becomes the next piece and really the last piece, right? 8 touches, 8 content pillars. Peggy, now we get to 8 marketing channels. And I've given you 11. There are lots more. I mean, I don't even know if I put events on here. I think I didn't. So that's a channel, but it's going to utilize all these other channels, right? Then you've got billboard, you've got radio and TV. I do have a billboard on there. Radio and TV. There's digital, print, web, digital. There's all kinds of things that you can do. So these are just the big ones that most people are doing today. I would say look at the ones that are your favorites, and I would say you need between 6 and 8. I know it's the 8 by 8 by 8, but if it's 7, the 8 by 7 by 9, it's okay. I want you in that range. I want you more channels and more content pillars. We've got to cover the gamut for our target market. All right, so we're going to finish this thing up. Let me give you a couple things, and I'll show you what the answer to the question was. How much does it cost, and how do we work, and all that stuff. 5 keys to domination. This is how I want your brain working. When you wake up tomorrow morning, this morning you didn't have that. This morning you came here. Good move. I'm going to wake up Wednesday every week. Come out of here with a great attitude. This morning, you're listening to this. Tomorrow morning, I want you thinking when you wake up, how am I getting seen, known, or how am I building my reputation? How am I building my brand? How am I forwarding my brand today? So that should be your everyday thought, okay? There's 5 keys. Number 1 is you want to have your USP or your unique selling proposition or unique value proposition or your superpower or your story, by the way. Your story tells about your superpower. That's where people go, ooh, I really like him. I really like her, okay? Your target market. You have to know your target market. By the way, notice when people get into the business, Peggy, and you and I share, I know, co-sponsored somebody. Notice that when you start somebody new, they almost always go to, what do I send? What do I do? That's tactics. Right. That's tools. That's number 4. 1, 2, and 3 come way before that. What's my USP? What's my target market? What's the offer that I make? How am I valuable to them? Then comes the tools, because tools is distribution. Tools is the content into your pillars of your channels, your content pillars into your content channels. And then finally is the execution. How much, how often? That's the 8 by 8 by 8. So here's what I would offer to all of you. First of all, the brand agent interview, I built a GPT that you just simply say, Annie, start the interview. Okay, this is where you're at, Annie. Okay, you need to say, start the interview. And it will actually interview you, has a great conversation with you. Everything that you get from that, if you will send that to me, we can start the process. But I'll give you the brand interview for free, because if you take everything that's in there, you've got the framework for everything I just gave you. You've got the story, you've got everything that's in there. It all comes from your mouth. It's just coming through the filter of the interview. We do the brand review. We then figure out what the story is going to be. We build the story for you if that's what you want us to do, or you build your story. Then we come up with the complete market domination, the 8 by 8 by 8 architecture, how much, how often of each thing for your brand, for your signature target market, et cetera, et cetera. We do the complete brand build out. So all of that comes. Now, by the way, I also have another platform that is not mine, but if you ever want to get an AI-driven platform that's a lead platform, it will feed into this gigantic system. That's a different conversation. When we get on the phone or on a Zoom or whatever, we can talk about that if that's interesting to you. It's not cheap, but it's putting leads right onto Allison's calendar right now as she's building her brand. And then, of course, I coach to all this stuff. So if you want coaching, I'm happy to help. Here's the blueprint. Here's the interview. I will give this to anybody. All you do is text me. There's my number. Just text me. Hi, this is Annie. Just say, hi, this is Annie. I'd like that interview. I'll send it to you. And then we'll get on a Zoom and we will talk about what else comes next. We'll give you back with the report, if we do this for you, if you want this, we'll give you the report of how the channel allocation should be, how much short form, Instagram, like we'll give you the balance of everything. We'll give you the rationale for the pillars, for the channels, why we chose them, what they're going to do for you. We're going to go through the weighting of each thing. Like this is going to help you grow this part of your business. It's going to help you grow this part of your brand. So we're going to give you the weighting of all of it. And all of that is going to get done for you. And then we're going to write your story. And Annie, this is the part where we're going to replace what's in your brochure now with your story when we finish that interview, okay?
Excellent.
Then we have all this good stuff that we do, and it looks really awesome. And we'll give you the brand kits. So this is what you're going to use no matter what you're doing on your own. You're going to have it all put into Canva so that you can just use it. It's yours. You can use it in all forms. And what we charge is normally just over $8,000. I just did a session and offered it for about half that, which was $39.90, I think it was. And I thought for the Wake Up Wednesday, we would do something at $2,500 for anybody who wants us to do all that work. Okay, wow. So if you're interested, it's a slam dunk deal. If you're not and you want to do it yourself, still reach out to me and get the questionnaire, because that questionnaire will set you on fire and move you the direction that you need to be going. And you know, the truth is that, remember, the best agent doesn't win, the best marketer does. And most of us haven't set ourselves in our marketing capacity. We're just not doing the marketing. And if you're still pounding the phones and thinking that's going to be your answer, it will get you deals. It will never build you a business. The way to build a business is through building a brand. So your job is to be omnipresent, be known, be trusted, and be chosen. And I'll help you do that in every way that I know how. You may not know this, Peggy, but I think you have a sense of it. You know, I've spoken for a lot of people, as you know, because you went to our seminars. But my audience is now over 2 million people. But what's interesting is we've actually built 150,000 plus campaigns through all those years.
Wow.
So when I say to people, nobody's built more campaigns than we have, it's because we served the realtor, the small independent agent market, and we served it big. And so for all those years of doing it, this is my 44th year.
Wow.
So yeah, I've been doing this for a while. So if you need
Just a
help,
bit.
if you need help, I'm the guy. I can help. I know how to do this. Anyway, let's take questions, or let me turn it back over to you to do whatever you want to do. But thank you for having me in today.
Don, thank you so much. I mean, your knowledge, your history, the people that you've worked with, this is what I love about EXP, is that people like you and every other speaker, they just pour into us. No matter if someone has a conversation with you or just took notes today, they're going to walk out
Totally.
here knowing more. And we always try to provide value in a gift. And I just want to applaud you today, Don. This was exceptional. So who's got questions?
Well, I got
Yeah.
a quick comment. Thank you so much, Don. I joined EXP some years ago, and not knowing that I was pursuing one of the top agents in California. If you remember, his name is Brent. Anyway, I not knowing I was connected with one of the best in the industry, and he grew up in my backyard here in California. Guys, California is not all that bad. We got great people who left and who built great life, contribute so much, and bless so many people. And Donna Allison is one of them. I got up this morning and just so blessed to hear all your things. I think inspire and encourage us. Thank you, Don. Thank you, Peggy.
Love you,
Thank
Watson.
you,
You're such a
Watson.
great guy, such a great man. Thank you.
So
What
who's
questions
got
do you have about your marketing? What you're doing? By the way, if anybody wants to send me, you can text me, and you can email me if you want, and that's Don at Don Hobbs is one of my emails. Don at Expert Partners is our company email. But if you want to send me stuff, send me screenshots of stuff you're doing, and I can give you some pieces. When I went into open houses, I took pictures of all their signage. I took pictures of all their stuff, and I'll call them back. And when we have meetings, I'll say, I've already got 4 or 5 suggestions for you, just to provide value. I want to make sure that they get
Mhm.
value, right? And so I'll take your stuff and show you where, I would make changes, show you things you can do to get more punch, just like I kind of took you through that agency brochure and go, don't do this. Like spend money
Mhm.
on something else that's really yours, right? Not the
Right.
agency. So I can really help anybody who wants that, and you don't have to buy anything. But if you want to have a conversation that'll probably change your life, just get on my calendar. Just text me, and we'll get on a schedule for this week or next and talk. Okay. Questions from anybody?
Cool.
I do.
Hi, Allison.
Hi, good morning.
Good
I like your
morning.
name, Allison.
Thank you. So I actually do have a question. I am on the newer side. I just joined EXP like 2 weeks ago. So
Congratulations.
very,
Good
very
news.
fresh.
But who
Thank
are you
you.
related to? Tell them who
I'm
your
related
sister
to
is.
Lisa Kane as my sister.
Yep.
Oh, I see
So
that. I see that. I
You
can
see
see
it? Yeah.
that. Yeah.
so yeah, I did come from a world of digital marketing and advertising, and so I do understand it. Um, I'm in an area though where it is very dominated by one in particular and probably six big hitters.
Mhm.
So what do you do when brand alone is not enough? Like you have to have it, but how do you break in when you are competing against pretty big fish that are already doing all this?
Well, first of all, great question. Great question. Real teaching points to this one. Everybody listen up, because this is really important for all of you. Who you think is dominant may or may not be dominant. I'm going to assume that you're right, but I'm also going to say realtors are aware of realtors in a different way than consumers are aware of realtors. So don't just assume. Okay. Second thing is, by the way, to prove that, go to your MLS and just do the stats and find out how much market share they've got. And by the way, when you say they're dominant in this market, what's the market? The bigger they're going, the more they're trying to cover, then the answer to your question is go smaller. If they're taking the whole turkey, grab the wing. Just go right here and go, I'm going to just dominate this part.
Yeah.
Okay. So go small, dominate that, and let that be. In fact, I remember there was a guy that used to own a market in Southern California that was Long Beach, and he did $100 million a year in Long Beach. But when we had people competing against him, we had people doing 50 million, 60 million, and another one doing probably 48 to 50 million. And what we did is we took pieces of Long Beach. We took pieces of Long Beach and went after those. And then we became the dominant force in that, instead of trying to be this.
Yeah.
And he had to spend a lot more money competing against those people, because we were doing the guerrilla tactics and going after smaller markets and owning them. So again, it's very expensive to own a whole market, and most of those people aren't spending enough. And I would tell you that if you got on a serious marketing campaign that isn't based on just they've been here a long time, that it was really hitting the market. Allison's about ready to launch a market campaign that will blow your minds, guys. When she gets that done, we'll come back and we'll share some of that. But right now,
I'm competing in a market where people have market share of 300 million plus, you know.
That's not market share. So what's the market availability? So Allison, what market are you in? What city are you in?
I'm in Danville, California.
Danville?
Alamo, Danville.
Okay. So 300 million is 100 properties, 150 properties.
Yeah.
Right.
And there's probably 6 big hitters that are probably doing that in the area. Okay.
So again, how much do you need to not worry about whether you're number one? How much do you need to have a hell of a living? And can we carve out 30 million and put you in the $1 million category? Can we carve out 35 million and put you in the $1 million category and give you the capital to start winning the war against those people?
Yeah, because I think that's part of it, is you have to have it to compete against them. I mean, they're dominating enough where your little amount is not gonna. I mean, they're in all of these pillars. They are doing all of this stuff. They are the name on the street.
Yep. And by the way, that's okay. You're not going to be able to grab it all from. You are I know your area very well, and I know where you're at, and I think that's awesome. But I'm telling you, if you go focused, go small. I can't remember the names of the communities that I used to know so well up there, but I'm just saying, go after communities within the city, within the area. Go after target markets, and go for domination of those. Pound that stuff. By the way, what you're also going to discover is most of them have gone to sleep. They're on autopilot.
Right.
And they're not still thinking about it because nobody's challenging them.
Exactly.
Okay. Now, going up against Goliath is not easy, but we've seen a movie. There's a guy named David that worked it out with a rock, right? So you can go there. We just have to do smart things, and you have to be very clever with your marketing strategy.
You can
do
do
you want
it,
help
Allison.
on that? That would be a fun thing to help you with if you want help on that.
Build it.
You bring a fresh new perspective. I'm going to tell you this quick story. I got into real estate a long time ago. There was a dominant agent. Her name was Joyce D'Angelo. Everyone said you can never go up against Joyce. I was like, why not? I didn't know any different. I took over her market within a year. I was the dominant agent there because I just said, why not? Because they didn't have another choice. They didn't have me, my personality, my style, what I brought to the table. So I want you to get rid of that belief that, oh, they're dominating, and just go for it. You'll get it. We'll help you.
All right.
Guaranteed.
Great question, Allison. By the way, do you have you ever looked to see if Allison.com is available? Just a curiosity. Your name is unique enough that I thought I'd ask.
You'd think, but I guess there's somebody else even at EXP where I couldn't even get my full name at exprealty.com. So I guess there is another one.
Don't use ever, guys. Don't ever use your EXP email, and don't ever use your EXP web address. You want your own domain. You want something that's going to be yours.
Please,
never use that. For Google business profiles, never use that stuff.
And I'm so glad you're bringing that up, because I just want to tell you, next week we have Monica Weekly on. She's on the board of directors at EXP. She just spent 3 nights, 4 days in darkness, and she's going to bring it and tell us what she learned and how that's changing her life. And then on the last Wednesday of the month, we have Bobby Kerr. He is Mr. Google. He will tell you how to get your business page up there. Don Hobbs in the house. Thank you very much. You brought so much to us. We love you. Love hanging out.
Peggy.
And I'll see you in 2 weeks at Build, at Dallas Build.
I see you there. Come on, guys. Come in.
Come on. Why not?
In.
Road trip.
Here.
Let's
it's just a plane flight. If you call me quick, you can stay at the house. Okay?
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank
Take
you,
care.
Don. Thank you, Peggy.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, Watson. See ya. Annie, I'm waiting for your questionnaire. Come on, girl.
I'm going to work on it today, Don.
All right. Bye, guys. Thanks, everybody.